Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode here at Sobriety University. On this channel we talk about addiction and recovery related topics. My name is Joel, and in this video we're going to talk about how to get through Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, aka the mass genocide of millions of people. However, hey, we're in America, so we got to make a holiday out of everything. And God, might as well try to get through it, right? So this video is in particular for those that are like in the beginning stages. Because I found that for the further along I got on the journey, the less difficult it was to get through the holidays. At the beginning, though, it can be a particularly triggering time because, one, seeing family and old friends again. Two, there's a lot of temptations around. And then three, there's just a lot going on, and it can make one feel a little stressed out. I know I definitely did. And from there, it can be easy to say like, okay, I want to use to mitigate this stress. However, we know where that leads. So the three things we're going to talk about today are meditation, talking about it with someone, setting a game plan, and then three, making sure that I have good boundaries set on how long I'm spending with family and friends. So before we start, like, comment, subscribe. Really helps out the channel. We've been growing quite well lately, and it's really exciting. So let's keep the train going. And so number one is going to be meditation. And this is very important, I find, before a holiday. I still do this now, or anytime really I'm having kind of a bigger event. I still do it like on a daily basis. However, it's really important that when I'm gonna go see family, when I'm gonna go see old friends, when I'm gonna go home in a couple days to see the folks, that I meditate right away. First thing I do when I wake up, no checking my phone, nothing, just go right into meditation. Because what meditation does is it helps one detach from their thoughts. And as you know by now, basically the desire to relapse are just the thoughts saying, hey, you should go use again, you should go use again. And so I find that when I have a little space away from those thoughts, that I'm able to choose more wisely when they come up. Also, it does the same thing for emotions too. So I know sometimes when I'm around certain family members, I can get triggered, which is basically an emotional reaction based on something that was said that usually goes back to childhood or whatever. However, a lot of things I still have not yet completely resolved yet. And that's kind of what the recovery journey is learning how to resolve these inner issues. And so when that happens, I feel kind of like a knee-jerk reaction a lot of times to respond a certain way, like the way I used to respond growing up, maybe in an unwise, unkind, uncaring, unloving way that usually causes some sort of uncomfortability. So in being able to watch that reaction kind of start to like emerge, I can be like, whoa, I don't gotta like grab onto it and let it kind of ride my decision making for the next few minutes here. I can say, I'm just gonna let this come, I'm gonna let this pass and behave differently. And that's super important around like old family members, especially ones that are maybe drinking or using or smoking in this case, or using any kind of addiction that you're now no longer partaking in. For me, food's also a big one. I know munchies and food go hand in hand. And I don't eat certain foods anymore that most of my family members do. And yeah, it's just not something they're into, which is totally cool. And I think we all kind of have an understanding now. However, when I see them starting to load on that, pie or ice cream and all the goodies, I'm like, man, would I ever like to just indulge right now? And so meditating in the morning, coming full circle here, helps me be able to not get so caught up in the fantasy of what it'd be like to eat those foods again. So that's been really helpful in not relapsing on food. And so going into number two, which is going to be talking to someone beforehand / setting a game plan. This is why sponsors and mentors can be really helpful in recovery. I'll link a video down below on the importance of them. And usually, in the beginning stages for sure, and actually usually I'll reach out to the guy I'm getting coached by, sponsored by, mentored by, and I just kind of tell them like what my state is going into the weekend or the event, the holiday, in this case Thanksgiving. And I'm like, hey man, this stuff's coming up, I'm feeling like unsure about this, and just talking about it has been very helpful in being able to kind of go into the day, the event, with a little bit of a buffer, knowing that, hey, I'm not gonna lose my rails here. I talked about it, somebody's got my back. Somebody knows what I'm gonna be going through or potentially going through. And because of that, it just takes some of the pressure off. It takes some of that like isolation off. Because I know for me particularly, sometimes during the holidays or when I'm around family, I can kind of feel a little bit alone because I don't do a lot of the things that my other family members do. A lot of them can kind of get by with doing some of these substances, and they don't really have many consequences compared to what I had. So I get sometimes a little jealous. I feel that isolation, and it's not a pleasant place to be. And so when I know that, okay, I have somebody that I've talked to that knows what I'm going through and is usually in the same boat or a similar boat, I feel a little less alone in the universe. And it really helps get through the day and have a more positive attitude, being able to enjoy some of the things where I can interact with family members and friends, etc. And I don't feel so isolated. So that's number 2. Number 3 is going to be setting boundaries on how long I stay. Now, this has been one that I did not do at the beginning. This is one that I've had to practice on. And in the past, I would feel so uncomfortable with the idea of leaving and going back and doing my own thing. Like, everyone would be like weirded out. Of course, no one cares whether I stay or go. I mean, they do care, but they don't like care. So having some boundaries, like, okay, I'm gonna stay for this amount of time and then leave. Has been super helpful because I don't feel this pressure anymore to stay there the whole time. When I'm starting to feel that real uneasiness, or that like I'm no longer creating joy in this situation or positive experiences, I know that it's going to be better for every party that I get out of there. And so it's almost a gift in a sense. Like, hey guys, I know we've had our fun. We're all a little tired here. I'm particularly tired. I'm gonna bounce. And usually everyone's been okay with it. We say our goodbyes, and then life continues. And it, again, takes that pressure off from feeling that I have to be obligated to stay there for so long. Now, on the particular topic of using, I had an experience with this recently that I'll share with you. I was at a wedding. It was my cousin's wedding, and it was out in the forest, and it was in Michigan, and weed's legal in Michigan. So by the end of the night, people had been drinking a lot. People had started to smoke, and you could smell the weed in the air. And that was a time where I'm just like, you know what, Joel, it's time to dip. I'm just gonna go back to I'm gonna go back to the hotel room and just chill out and just enjoy my own company, because usually by that time I'd rather just hang out by myself anyway and spend more time with people. And so that was a real like kind of test to this, where I had the boundaries to say, okay, this stuff's, I don't need to stay. I don't need to pretend like I'm cool with all this and like I can hang. It's like, no one gives a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't want to be smelling weed all night because, well, it smells so damn good, I'll be honest. So it's time for me to bounce. And in doing that, I had a much better experience, and I was less irritable, resentful, guilt, shame-ridden the next day. I mean, I had none of that because I honored my own boundaries. Best of luck on your Thanksgiving. Have a great holidays, and talk to you soon. Peace.